to start with, well, what has been said yet, I will not present a large-scale survey or a large overview of the numbers and the statistic in the Netherlands, but it has mainly to do with our situation in the Netherlands, and I will say some things about that. To join the last discussion, in the Netherlands, the Kasky Institute already exists as from 1946. And as from there, we count the numbers for the Catholic Church. And these indeed are the numbers that Wim was speaking about. So the church attendance, the sacraments, and these kind of numbers. And there is an overemphasis on these still. So I totally agree with that. And also in the Netherlands, to add from the last question that was asked, we postponed our counting, our church attendance counting to the fall, while we actually are always counting in the spring. Last weekend and the weekend before were the church counting weekends, and it was postponed, and we didn't do any online counting or COVID counting, which is really a pity, I think. But I won't go into these statistics. I will speak about the evaluation of religious projects, of innovation projects that are related to the Space for Grace project. And Miriam, do people of the conference know about Space for Grace? I think you might have.
We mentioned that in some workshops, perhaps to give a little frame.
Yeah. That's good to know. Yeah. Since we are also working together with ZAP on the Space for Grace projects, and we evaluate them in the Netherlands. What I will do is give a short context about the religious landscape in the Netherlands. I will say something about how we evaluate, religious innovation projects in the Netherlands, and I will give a couple of examples and talk about the results. But first, what is the religious landscape in the Netherlands looking like? Here you see the numbers that are not collected by us, but by the state, as from 2012, and this concerns membership rates. So that is good to mention. I will, say a bit more about that later, but church membership, around half of the population. We are with 17 million in the Netherlands, and half of the population is not affiliated to any religious, to any religion anymore. 20% was in 2019, which are the most recent results, affiliated to the Roman Catholic Church. We have 14 or almost 15% Protestants, 5% Muslim, and a small 6% other religious denominations. You can see, there is a decline in the Catholic Church, a smaller decline in the Protestant Church. Muslims are, more or less stable, growing a bit, and the other religions are also more or less stable. But of course, this doesn't. This isn't the whole picture. So church membership is a bit, optimistic, I would say. If you look at the involvement, the involvement of in the religious, who are involved religious people, we look at, or the only numbers we have is visiting a religious service. And as from the Catholics, that is the smallest percentage. So 20% of the Dutch have a Catholic membership or are members of the Catholic Church. 3% of the whole population is visiting a Catholic service more than once a month. So that's 15% of our Catholic population. That is the number between the brackets. As for the Protestants, that's only half of their members is visiting a religious service more than once a month. So the total number is smaller, but actually the involved members are way bigger. And for the Muslim and the other religious affiliations, that is only almost a third of their members who are visiting religious services. And if we look into the Catholic Church in the Netherlands, we have 7 dioceses all over the country, which are colored here nicely. About evaluating religious projects, what do we do? The Space for Grace project is an international project financed by Portuguese that stimulates projects that improve the vitality of church communities. And they do that by financing, oh, and there's my cat again. They do that by financing small-scale projects, mostly. Yeah. They do that by financing small-scale projects. And we in the Netherlands are the partner who evaluates the projects. So so what do we do? We actually, I already heard Wim making the distinction between impact evaluation and monitoring, and that is an important part or an important underlying theory we use in evaluating the projects. And we start from a theory of change, so a vision of how a project will create change within their community, within their parish. And the difference between impact evaluation and monitoring is that the impact concerns, well, the actual change that results for those affected by a project. And in the ideal situation, you compare these results to the alternative outcomes that when the project had not existed. So we speak there of outcomes, and monitoring is more about tracking whether a program is being, well, implemented as intended, whether participants are using the project as anticipated. And then we speak of outputs, and the distinction is good to keep in mind when it comes to evaluation and how we use these terms in our approach. So what do we do with these projects that participate in Space for Grace? We support them for 1 year, the first year of their project mostly. And we have an intake with them in which we formulate and sharpen the goals, in which we, well, reflect on their theory of change, their outputs, their outcomes. We try to, well, to articulate these. And then during the year, we set up a self-monitor with them. So we actually try to make them independent from us and have them collect their own data. And that comes to, well, a couple of things, to activities, to research, or to the reach. So what people actually come to these activities they organize. We offer a reception monitor. So and these are more, the first two are more about output. So what activities are set up and how many people do visit these activities, and the reach is more about what kind of people are visiting these activities. Is it only, well, highly educated people, or only women, or that is more about the reach. And then the last three more come to the outcome and to the actual impact of these of the projects. And the reception then is on the short term. So how do people evaluate an activity just after it has been there? The use is more a week or a couple of weeks after. So how do people use the insights or the whatever they have taken from these events back into their daily lives? And the impact is, well, a bit further. So into a half a year, 2 years, wherever you can monitor. So these are the things we offer to the projects, and at the end of the project, and we try to set them up with the project teams, and at the end of the year we visit them again for an audit, and together with the project team we reflect on the project process. We reflect also on the use of the self-monitor. And we make possible adjustments for their continuation, since these projects, well, it's just a year that they started, or that we supported them. So that is what we do, or what we offer to them. Well, to get an idea about the numbers and how far we are in Space for Grace is now a 3-year project, and we had 9 projects in the Netherlands in 2020 who started, well, January 2020, and we had 9 audits, and we had 9 intakes, and at the end of the year we had 7 audits. In 2021 we had 10 projects that were financed, and we did 10 intakes, and well, in a couple of months we will see them again for their audits, and there will be a 3rd round in which 10 new projects are about to start. So we will visit them in the beginning of the next year for their intake. So that is to give an idea about the numbers. It's very small scale, and we only now have evaluated did audits with 7 projects, so that is, well, but to give you an idea about the projects, I will just shortly tap on 2. There is the Diocese of Groningen and Leeuwarden, which is in the north of the Netherlands, the green diocese on the map here, which consists of 90 parishes and 84 communities. And they have a project on improving the vitality of their parishes by the intervention technique of appreciative inquiry, which is a kind of an intervention method they want to use. And well, so you can see this project is very linked to the church itself, while other projects are a bit farther away from the church itself. Yeah, I'm not going to say much more about this. Another project that is financed was the Huis van Dominicus, the home of Dominicus. And they want to, be a new center that provides kind of, development programs on the intersection of faith, personal development and societal changes. And they have a program for people who are burnout and a program for young theologians, and they offer all kinds of development programs. So they are aiming at people from the neighborhood, the parish, newcomers and theologians. So they're a bit further away, but still linked to a parish. But these are nice examples of projects that are financed by Porticus. And then the results. And this page is, as you see in books, intentionally left blank. Actually, because, I could start a great story here about empowerment and ownership and, meaningful impact. And also one of the goals of Porticus is that these projects become kind of learning organizations or learning projects in themselves. And that is why we set up this whole monitor. But the truth is that for these 7 projects that we have visited twice, we cannot draw much conclusions, I would say. If you can say something about impact, it was the impact of the lockdowns and the restrictions that these 7 projects faced in the first year. What we do see is that it is also a very new approach towards people from, at least people that come from within the church. So thinking in a systematic way about these developments and collecting data, and it requires a combination of curiosity but also of discipline, and the initiatives themselves mostly yet take a lot of effort from these people. They are in a startup phase. They are just busy enough with starting up their own initiatives. And we also know in the Dutch context that the Protestant church has a bit of a longer tradition of supporting pioneering or innovation projects. And they also conclude that it takes just at least a couple of years to get these from the ground and to get these started. But we are hopeful for the future, and we are very happy to work together also with ZAP and with the KU Leuven, with BIM, to evaluate the Space for Grace projects on a more international scale and to compare them. But hopefully we get a bit more time, I would say. Thank you for now.
Thank you very much.